Nick from the Linux Experiment has had his YouTube channel deleted. He's a great Linux-based content creator with a lot of great tutorials. And here is the tweet behind me that has basically destroyed his channel or had his channel terminated because it was a violation of community guidelines from YouTube. Now, this happened directly in relation to giveaway. I'm going to talk about giveaways. I'm going to figure out what kind of guidelines he actually broke because it's very hard. YouTube is very kind of cloak and dagger about this kind of information a lot of times. And giveaways are one thing that is very dangerous to do. So any YouTube creator you ever see do a giveaway, just know they are risking a lot by doing that and getting very little in exchange for it. So just know these are very, very risky. They can lead to channel terminations or at least strikes. Even the bigger channels run into this, specifically Jay's 2 Cents, Linus, and Bitwit, all have dealt with channel strikes directly in correlation to giveaways. Now, moving on from this, I actually pulled up that video. Just leads to this. Hey, YouTube account associated with it has been terminated. So Nick is no longer on YouTube as of the making of this video. I'm trying to make it the night of. I know he's sleeping right now. Hopefully he wakes up and gets a little more love from everybody in the audience. What can you do about this? Tweet at YouTube creators and Team YouTube. He's already filed an appeal, but a lot of the internal workings of YouTube, you have to have an audience elsewhere that can bombard YouTube to get their attention. If you don't have that audience elsewhere, that's why I have a Twitter. A lot of people criticize me for that, but I know I could amass thousands of people over there and hit YouTube and say, hey, I'm a person. Please pay attention to me, and have YouTube actually respond and possibly do something about anytime something like this happens. Because not only has it happened to Nick, I could see this happening to anybody, myself included. And our livelihoods are at stake for this. So anytime I see a fellow creator like Nick fall for it, I want to give people, my audience, hey, if you watch Nick or have watched him in the past, please tweet at these addresses and hopefully they will respond and restore his channel. I'm sure they will, but at the same time, it's very concerning. And I want to get into kind of like my future because stuff like this always gives me pause. But this isn't something new. Jay's 2 Cents back in 2019, I think he almost got a strike. I know Kyle from Bitwit did get a strike, and strikes are really big things because you get removed from the YouTube algorithm, which kills AdSense, and we also lose a lot of stuff. I know Jay has dealt with a lot of problems around giveaways because people can report those links in your videos to have your channel taken down and other stuff. It can get really nasty when it comes to these giveaways, which they've all dealt with, which is kind of just a sad thing, reason why they're very dangerous to do if you are on YouTube. But if you do want to do them, I did find this how-to article. It kind of went through and I was like, hey, how does this happen? And there's a couple really big things. One, international laws. In the US, you got to have like no purchase necessary. In the UK, you can't do it as a lottery. Only charitable causes can do lotteries apparently. And I think the UK, by extension, a lot of the European Union has very similar laws. So check these rules before running a giveaway. Also, YouTube will terminate your channel if you try to extract engagement by doing a giveaway. And what's that mean? I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Right here, YouTube's fake engagement policy. If you say, hey, you have to like this video, you have to subscribe to get this sort of thing, that can lead to a channel strike or a complete deletion of your YouTube channel. So be very careful around fake engagement. That's also a very important thing. And also just kind of follow these rules. Always be reading these guidelines. A lot of times they do change. It's very important when it comes to YouTube. We got to remember that this is not like a freedom of speech platform. It is very much, hey, we're in a sandbox. You got to play by these certain rules. Sometimes those rules are gray and they're always constantly shifting and moving. So you just kind of have to keep an eye on it. And obviously, giveaways are a very, very dangerous place to do any of. A lot of people always ask me, hey, why don't you do giveaways? And this is probably a really good explanation of why. That, and I don't really do product reviews. I don't really have any sponsors to give me any products. So I don't really have anything to give away, even if I did do giveaways. But very important to know. And lastly, when it comes to YouTube creators, a lot of people are like, oh, poor guy on YouTube, you guys are all millionaires. And I just want to just give you a follow-up on my AdSense. Here you go. This is $3,400 that I've made in the past 28 days, which a lot of people are like, oh, that's a lot. I've poured over 600 or 700 videos onto the channel over 3 years. I just passed my 3-year marker today. This is actually 3 years on YouTube, which I'll probably do a separate video on, kind of going over that. But as far as my future in YouTube itself, this estimated revenue is pre-tax. So usually here in the States, it's about 30 to 40%, depending on your tax bracket, usually gets taken out. So I'll probably lose about $1,200 of that. So usually about $2,000 a month. I also don't have any health insurance or benefits from YouTube. So, just FYI, when it comes to an American, I always make the joke, you want to know why all the whole YouTubers are Canadian? It's because they have health care. And that's a big concern, because at my day job, I pay about $1,200 for healthcare just for my family. And if I was going to do private healthcare, I'd need about $36,000 a year to pay for that. And YouTube doesn't, I make maybe that on YouTube pre-tax. And I think if I took out all that and paid it for healthcare, I could, but I would have no living expenses. So there's a reason why I have a side hustle and a day job, and I don't just do YouTube. A lot of people would be like, you're doing YouTube wrong. You need to do affiliates and sponsorships and other stuff. And they probably are right. But it's just kind of how I see YouTube. The value is I get to talk to you. I get to talk to a ton of people, and that's really where the money is then on YouTube. Maybe on finance channels and other stuff, the AdSense does get a lot crazy. I saw Graham Stephan stuff and my jaw dropped. But that's an outlier, not the story in general. A lot of people rely on all these things. And I know in Nick cases, he relies on sponsorship. He relies on AdSense. He relies on charitable donations through like Patreon and those types of things. And this is his lifeblood. He quit his day job this year. So please get on Twitter or wherever you can do to help Nick out. I appreciate it. And if someone from YouTube sees this, definitely restate Nick's channel. He's all about educational stuff. He never does anything bad. He's about as PG as you can get. And I love a lot of his content. I think the world of YouTube would be a lot darker place without him in it. So, with that said, that's today's video. Let me know your thoughts down there. Or, you know what? Don't give me a comment. Get on Twitter, tweet at YouTube, do something else. Because honestly, I want you to engage with him and YouTube. Those are the people you really need to talk about. So don't even bother with a comment today. I always ask about that. Just show him some love. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the next one.